And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Wednesday, March 12th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. Wednesday morning, we thank you for joining us, and our thanks to the folks at Cedarstone Bank, who are our advertiser each Wednesday at this time. Bob McDonald is President and Chief Executive Officer, and he's with us this morning to talk about Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, simple banking, simply better. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Coleman. Great to be with you.
Always nice to have you. We look forward to your Wednesday visit each week.
Well, we've been doing this, I think, since 2008, Coleman. And as you hear me say, most Wednesdays, being with you these 7 minutes is very important to our bank. It's important to our customers. They enjoy hearing us come on your show and talk about some activities that we're involved in or talk about some of our products. And so it's a very big part of our plan and our strategy, and we're very thankful to you and MJ, Billy, and Susie for allowing us to be a part of it for all these years.
Yeah, and it is. It's something to look forward to each Wednesday to have you with us and to find out how things are going at Cedarstone. And, of course, there's some uniqueness about Cedarstone Bank. One is the fact that you have 3 branches all on Highway 70, Lebanon Road, Nashville Pike, however you refer to that, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson.
That is, we call that the Lebanon Road Corridor, and each of those communities are distinct and separate in their own way. They have their own identity and they have their own characteristics and their own personality, but they complement one another also. So we see people who bank with us in Donaldson who may have opened their account and live there, but they do banking in either Mount Juliet or Lebanon and vice versa. So we found that that strategy that we had all those years ago to align them along that way has proved to be beneficial as we've grown the bank and as we make ourselves convenient to our customers and to our communities.
Right. One thing, I think my observation is fairly correct. There have been a few people who may have worked at all 3 branches, but it seems like for the most part, if you start out with Donaldson, you pretty much stay in Donaldson. You start out in Lebanon, you stay in Lebanon. Is that pretty true?
That is true. I mean, most folks who work in those 3 offices live near their office where they work. And we've had a number of people who may have started in one office but moved to another because there might have been a promotional opportunity for them to move into a different position. And we always welcome that. When we do have openings at the bank, Coleman, we always look within first. We believe that's important, that we encourage advancement and that we encourage folks who may want to move from one location to another. So we always look to, whenever we do have opportunities, we give those folks who are with us the first choice or the first chance at those.
Right. Well, we say this not maybe every Wednesday, but quite often. You get your loan at Cedarstone, and lending money is a lot of what you're all about. How's the lending going right now?
Staying real busy, Coleman. We've been putting a lot of new loans on the books, as we say, and we keep a list of loans that are in process at some level or some stage of process, and we call that the loan pipeline, and that's very full and has been for many, many years. And so, and the encouraging thing is, Coleman, it's a diverse loan type. I mean, we're seeing real estate loans, we're seeing business equipment loans, we're seeing car loans, we're seeing home improvement loans. So we're thankful that we're seeing a diverse group of loan requests, which we think speaks to the strength of our local economy. We were talking off the air, some things going on nationally that will get readjusted and that will get sorted out in due time. But right here in your listening order, it's very healthy, very active, very diverse, and we can be thankful for that.
Well, I guess it's time that we don't try not to ever fail to mention the Simply Better free checking account, because that's really the way to get started, is start out with a free checking account at Cedarstone and work your way to more and better things, and so many people have done that.
That's right. And Coleman, it's an account that's for everyone. I mean, it's whether you're just getting started, maybe you just graduated from high school or college and you need a checking account, it's great to have that Simply Free checking account. And if you've been in business a long time and you're looking to make a change in banks, it's a great account for those people as well. And so we encourage your listeners who do not currently bank with us to come by and visit. Let us tell them about the free checking account and everything else we have. But the free checking, it is free, Coleman, every way. If you want to write checks, we provide checks for free. If you want to do your banking electronically, we offer all the systems for that as well. And so we're proud of our programs, and they're second to none. And we encourage your folks to come visit with us if they don't have that account with us now.
Right, and you do have people who are technology-wise can help if there's a problem with internet banking or anything really. But if some of that is a little bit new, you have people who can see you through.
That's exactly right. We've got great folks coming. They're not only competent and professional, but they're friendly also.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us today. Have a great one, and hopefully we'll do it again next Wednesday, Bob.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great day.
All right. Bob McDonald, he is President, CEO, Cedar Stone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better. 10:30 after the hour, and it's the Wednesday we feature Cumberland University. Rusty Richardson is here. Rusty, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
Nice to see you, of course. Rusty's Executive Director of Community Relations and External Affairs has brought a guest this morning. We'll introduce in time, but I've got your notes here, and it says the semester is half over and commencement is only 51 days away.
Yes, our students had their spring break last week, so it was a very empty campus last week with all the students gone. As far as we know, they all had a good time and made it back safe and sound.
Yeah.
At least we hope that's the case. But it's that really marks the midpoint of the semester for us. So 51 days from now, we'll be having the largest commencement we've ever had on May the 3rd. It'll be here before we know it. Our planning is already well underway for that.
We have a lot to talk about and an interesting guest as well, but another thing we should mention here, some amazing sports performances.
We have all the spring sports that are going full bore right now, and we have some remarkable things going on. Baseball is now 19-5-1. They lost a game yesterday to Tennessee Wesleyan. Final score was 16-13. It was a barn burner. But they're 19
slugfest.
Slugfest. 19-5-1.
Yeah.
That's
great.
They had a 10-game win streak that was just broken about a week ago, and they also had their first no-hitter in many years. Now, it took 5 pitchers to get there, but it was a no-hitter. So that's doing well. One of our star athletes is not in baseball, but runs track and field, and that's Praise, and I'm not sure I'll ever pronounce her last name correctly, but Ida Madudu has now won.
That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, but she just defended her title in the women's 400-meter and ran that in 53.91 seconds. It is her 7th individual national championship in NAIA.
Oh, wow.
So certainly one of our most decorated athletes in all of Cumberland's long history. And all the sports are going on: golf, volleyball, you name it, softball. I think in the month of February we had 40 different home sporting events. So if people want to come out and participate or watch those games, they're always welcome. They can just check the athletic calendar and see when those games are coming up.
Well, you do have a big variety of sports. It's not just centered on 2 or 3. There's a great variety.
People are amazed when they find out that we actually have more sports teams than the University of Tennessee. Because with the JV teams and things like that, I think there are now.
I don't think you've ever said that before.
I think there's 27 or 28 different sports, both men's and women's.
Wow.
And we're adding one in the fall, women's flag football.
Yeah.
So it's there's just always something going on athletically there, and certainly commend Ron Pavin and his staff, all his coaches, for everything they do for our student athletes. So it's an exciting time for that.
All right. Are you ready to introduce the guest?
I am. This is a repeat guest. I have Dr. Mark Hanshaw with me this morning. He's the Associate Provost and General Counsel for the university. And he is a very valuable member of the senior staff, wears a lot of hats like many of us do. at Cumberland with lots of different areas, but he's got some exciting news to share this morning.
Well, we want to welcome you, Mark Henshaw. Good to see you again, and
It's great to be here.
Hope things are going well.
Absolutely. As Rusty said, there's a lot going on at Cumberland University right now. It's a really, really good time in the life of the institution. Record enrollment, and I can't emphasize that more than is possible, because this fall we had the highest enrollment we've ever had, but we've now done that 3 falls in a row. And so that sustained growth is really making a difference in terms of not only what's happening at Cumberland, but also the way in which it's reaching out to other students from other parts of not only the country, but as I'm here to talk about today, also the world. And so there are people from all over that are looking at Cumberland as a destination to study.
All right. Before we get further involved with you, it's time for us to take a break, which we need to do right here. And we'll just say there's more coming up with Cumberland University here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways thanks to Bates Ford and the Lifetime Brake Pad Guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns a vehicle. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's trying to load up a little bit more volume just in the last few minutes on 24 westbound up through Antioch, coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. Still busy down 65 through Millersville, better than it was where it was slow earlier near Bethel Road. Plenty of radar all over Middle Tennessee this morning. Give yourself extra time. When you need dependable towing, call STR Towing and Recovery. Check out strtow.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Simple banking, simply better. Since 2004, that's been our motto at Cedarstone Bank. I'm Bob McDonald. We know that financial decisions can sometimes be complicated, but that doesn't mean solutions have to be. Whether you're buying a new home, renovating your existing home, or buying a car, or maybe you're a business that needs to purchase equipment for the building you operate from, we have all the technology that will allow you to do your banking online or on the telephone, or you can come in one of our beautiful branches and see our great people. With locations in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Nashville, Cedarstone Bank. Simple banking, simply better.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hello, my name is Drew Dalton Akawumi from Des Moines, Washington, and I play shortstop and center field for the Cumberland Phoenix. We have a huge weekend ahead of us as we open up Mid-South Conference play on the weekend at Lindsey Wilson. Hear all the action on these radio stations at GoCumberlandAthletics.com. Check out the CU website for game times. You won't want to miss a pitch. Go Phoenix.
And we thank you for joining us. Welcome again to our program this morning featuring Cumberland University. Rusty Richardson with us, and we're talking with Mark Henshaw, Associate Provost and General Counsel. And you just really got started, Mark, and you do have a lot to tell us today about Cumberland's fastest growing program, what you're there and are all about. And let me ask you this and then turn you loose. How long you been at Cumberland yourself?
Yeah, so I've been at Cumberland for 3 years.
Okay.
And during that time, we've seen enormous growth. In fact, this year, I love this statistic. This year, there are 34 private colleges and universities in the state of Tennessee. And we had the fastest rate of growth of any of those 34 institutions. And that just speaks so highly to the staff that I get to work with on a day-to-day basis at Cumberland.
Well, congratulations to Cumberland for that. I know Dr. Stum has got to be pleased. He already knows it, but even to hear it again probably makes him smile.
Yeah, that's probably a statistic he's used a time or two, I think.
What else you want to tell us?
Well, we have a lot going on at the campus. It's a really exciting time in terms of the growth that's taking place. But one of the things that we wanted to talk about today, and Rusty asked me if I would come out and spend a few minutes here focused on this today, has to do with the way in which our student profile has changed in certain ways. Many people, I think, once thought about Cumberland as a local university, a university that primarily drew most of its student population from really just around Wilson County. And certainly, we still draw a lot of students from Wilson County. But also now we're drawing more and more students from all across the state of Tennessee, all across the country. And this year, sort of another record for us, this year we have students from 63 different countries. So if you walk across campus, you hear a lot of languages being spoken, and it's really quite interesting, quite fascinating to see how individuals from really across the globe are selecting Cumberland University as a place to study.
Well, I wonder, and this is another subject, and we don't want to dwell on it here, but hopefully they're able to come here, maybe speak English, but if not, to learn it in a hurry, and to kind of get in the flow, assimilate. Is that the right word? Anyway, to become a part of the campus and a part of life here.
Well, I tell you, international students. They work very hard to be able to have the opportunity to come to a place like Cumberland. And there are a lot of requirements for them to meet. There are visa requirements that the government provides, and there are also language requirements and educational requirements that Cumberland University requires these students to meet. So, all of the students that are coming in are able to engage fully in the curriculum in English. Of course, many of them come in with native languages that are different than English, and some of them come in. There was a young man who plays on our tennis team, and I was speaking with him just recently, and he speaks 5 languages.
Wow!
And so it's a really interesting and diverse group of people. Mm-hmm. And what's also interesting is the many ways they get involved in our community. Many of these students play on athletic teams. They're involved in clubs. We have a very robust international student office. And so, there's really a lot going on with these students.
Well, if we didn't remind people of this, probably word wouldn't get out as much. But this is really an accomplishment to have that many countries represented. And how many did you say?
63.
63.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's an incredible group of students, and they bring so many different skills. In fact, I just had the opportunity to recommend a young lady who has graduated with an undergraduate degree from Cumberland for a master's degree program at another institution. But she came here from Columbia, and she ran track. And it's just really interesting to see the things that these individuals accomplish. And many of them do come in with challenges. Some of them, again, are coming from parts of the globe that are underdeveloped. Many of them are still brushing up their English language skills, even though they've passed an English language exam before coming to the university. But still, there's a lot that they are doing that domestic students don't necessarily have to worry about. So it's a steeper climb for many of them, but they meet that climb and they go beyond.
And you're wanting to talk a little bit about the information technology management master's degree, I believe.
Yeah, one of the programs that's really been attractive to many of our international students coming in at the graduate level is our Master of Science in IT Management. And so this is a wonderful program that helps individuals really accelerate their careers in the area of IT, to move from general employee level work in IT into positions that allow them to oversee departments and whole groups of workers. And so it's a wonderful degree program, and we have individuals from really, again, across the globe who have come into that program. So amongst our international students, and this is a change for us, amongst our international students, about 2/3 of them are graduate students.
Oh.
And so that sort of helps underscore the fact that many of these individuals are destined to really influential careers. And so they're utilizing the resources that are available at Cumberland to really lift them into those careers.
Well, it sounds like this is taken off and almost mushroomed, if you will.
It really has, in ways that I don't know that we all expected, and that's been great. It's presented certain challenges, for sure, but it's also presented some amazing opportunities. And we see these students working together and collaborating. We see students from differing parts of the globe becoming friends and probably professional allies, so that over the course of their careers, they're going to work together in many different capacities.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can talk a little bit more about the residency program, international partnerships. Anything else on that you want to conclude with?
Yeah, sure. So in addition to the international students on our campus, we're also expanding opportunities for our domestic students to be engaged around the globe. And so we've already established partnerships with two universities just in the last year, Hayek College in Brazil, in Brasilia, Brazil, the capital of Brazil, and also Kafu University, which is the Kazakh American Free University, located in Kazakhstan. And these are opening up interesting opportunities for our individual domestic students to study abroad. And we are engaged right now in conversations with MIT, not the MIT you're thinking about, but the Maharashtra Institute of Technology in India.
Oh, wow.
And also Oyama University in Tokyo, Japan. So all of these present wonderful opportunities for our domestic students to be engaged globally as well.
All right. That pretty much kept what you wanted to tell us this morning.
It does indeed, but thank you so much for having me back. I'm glad the first time around wasn't such that you decided not to invite me again, but it is good to be back.
Well, I can't take full credit. Rusty pretty much decides who's going to accompany him out here, but you're always welcome, and it's good to see you again.
Coleman, appreciate
Rusty,
it.
we got about 4 minutes to conclude, and there's a lot to talk about here on upcoming events.
Yes, one comment I would add to what Mark shared, with the students we have from not only Tennessee, but the other states and these foreign countries, many of them choose to stay in this part of the world, and specifically in Middle Tennessee, which is a fabulous opportunity because almost any meeting you go to in the city or county, one of the constant topics is where's the workforce going to come from for all the companies moving here? Uh-huh. Well, we are importing some of that workforce. So that's just a great additional benefit for the entire community for that. As you said, we've got lots of upcoming events. I may not make it through all of them. I'll run through them very quickly. But a couple to highlight. Camp Fame, our annual summer camp for the arts. That registration is now open. If any parents or grandparents are listening and have children or grandchildren for that camp will be June 16th through the 21st. Registration all occurs during the month of March, though, so they can find that registration material on the Cumberland website. Tickets for the Phoenix Ball are now on sale for the 41st Phoenix Ball. That's June 7th. Those are going quickly. Many people probably got an email yesterday announcing those tickets are on sale. So if people are interested, I encourage them to get those tickets early because we are expected to sell out. Mm-hmm. On March 18th, our admissions department is having a special event called Stop, Drop, and Enroll, where they can stop by, fill out the forms, and get an immediate answer if they meet the criteria for enrollment. And that's from 3:30 to 6:30. Many students take advantage of that.
I don't know who came up with that, but I like that. Stop, drop, and
enroll. Yes. I don't think that's. I don't think they have a copyright on that, so others may steal that as well. March 22nd at the Capitol Theater is our second annual Arts Extravaganza, where students involved with theater, the band, other performing arts get to show off what they've been working on. That is a ticketed event. Tickets are available at the Capitol Theater or online. To see that program, and see a whole diversity of talent displayed for that. On April 1st, we have our annual scholarship dinner. That's a dinner where we actually invite scholarship recipients to meet the donors who have created those scholarships. So it's a great time for the donors to see exactly what their dollars are doing, the opportunities they're providing, and meet the students that are the beneficiaries of their generosity, which is great. The very next day, we have our annual Holocaust program. We have a speaker for that. I don't have the information on who that speaker is at this point, but that's always a well-attended event as we recognize and remember victims of the Holocaust. On April 5th, Saturday, we are combining efforts with Vanderbilt Hospital and the American Heart Association for the Heart Association Heart Walk. That will be on our campus this year. It'll be Saturday morning, and you can find information about that on the website as well. Very excited to work with both the people at Vanderbilt and the hospital and the American Heart Association for that very important walk, and a great awareness-building event and fundraiser for them. Finally, the tickets are available also for Notes for Nurses. That's pretty far in the distance. That's September 5th, but those tickets are now also available, and plans are well underway to get all that in the works as well.
And they go fast, too, I guess.
And they go fast, too. This year it's going to be out at the Expo Center, and the same entertainers that came last year are coming back, called Soul Incision, which is a musical group comprised of all professional medical personnel. Doctors, surgeons, nurses constitute that band, and they're just a great performance. So between Phoenix Ball, Notes for Nurse, all those things available on the Cumberland website. And I don't want to pass an opportunity to mention on June 13th, we'll have Symphony on the Lawn.
Yes.
So that's always an annual summer tradition. So
and we'll
just lots of moving parts there.
Be hearing more about that here, too, I'm sure.
Yes.
All right. Well, that concludes our visit from Cumberland for this month. And Rusty, thanks again as always. And Mark Hanschel, thanks for being with us today. You
Absolutely.
brought us some good information. We appreciate it. Well, that is part one of Coleman and Company. We've got more. Please keep it here, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota. Write it off the lot. Write it off your taxes. Visit Absolute Kubota. Take advantage of the Section 179 tax deduction when you buy new Kubota construction equipment, tractors, RTVs, hay tools, or turf products. Absolute Kubota. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. They were moving a stalled truck in a terrible spot a few minutes ago on 40 westbound, just past Fessler's. It's heavy enough over here on this side of town as it is. Coming in right now from Hermitage, Donaldson, that's starting to build pretty good. It's gotten heavier. 65 southbound down through Millersville again as you work your way 65 south or into Madison. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken has that live entertainment starting at 6 o'clock tonight. For more information, check out their website. You can order online while you're there at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
Have you ever desired to live in a stately historical home in the Lebanon Historical District? If so, now you have the opportunity. This is Lou Ann Snyder of A.G. & Johnson Realty, and along with Ed James, we have a large 2-story home listed in the Cumberland University Historic District. It features a brand new roof plus a new HVAC system. Call Ed or myself, Lou Ann, at 615-444-0909 to schedule a tour.
We'll have sunny skies again for today, and it will be warm. Highs in the upper 70s. Partly cloudy tonight with a few showers moving in. Lows in the upper 50s. And then cloudy with rain showers on Thursday. Highs in the lower 70s. This forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your Severe View forecast, I'm Storm Specialist Drew Richards.
All right, we welcome you to part 2 of Coleman and Company. And before we get started with our program here, a couple of announcements I want to make. And one is to mention a job fair. The Lebanon Special School District is going to be hosting a job fair on Thursday, March 20th. And they're reaching out to their community partners to share this information. And there's going to be available positions for certified teachers, elementary and middle school, education assistants, general education, special education, substitutes, elementary and middle school, transportation, means bus drivers and bus aides, food services, cooks, support and servers, substitutes, as well as the SACC after school care. So that job fair again is going to be held on Thursday, March 20th. And the other thing I want to tell you is that the Lebanon High School class of 1975 will hold its 50th reunion Saturday, May 3rd at the Lebanon Golf Country Club. For more information, visit the LHS 50-year reunion page on Facebook or email Nancy Williams Ash at nancyash15@gmail.com. All right, our program this morning is paid for by the Wilson County Democratic Women, and Joni Cochran is with us. Joni, good morning.
Good morning.
And we have another person on the phone who, as we say, is waiting in the wings to be a part of this. We'll introduce momentarily. But, Joni, what updates do you have to share about the Wilson County Democrats?
A couple of things since we were last here. We had a friends and family get-together at East Nashville Beer Works on 109, the new facility over there. It's fabulous if you haven't been there. And we had over 70 people actually come and hang out for a few hours and in fellowship and get to know each other and, realize that they're not the only Democrat in the neighborhood. And we had folks from, all ages. We had families there with small children. We had retirees. I had the chance to talk to a couple of gentlemen who were retired union guys, and it was really good. It was heartwarming to see so many people turn out, and many of them not because they were on a list or a phone call list or anything like that. They just happened to see it on social media and responded, which we thought was encouraging as well. The other thing that we have going on that's coming up in a few weeks is our biennial reorganization. I don't know that every political party goes through that, but we do, and I know here in Tennessee the Republicans do as well. But our reorganization meeting is going to be coming up in April, and that's where we elect officers and executive committee members and adopt our bylaws and kind of get ourselves organized and ready for the next 2 years.
All right. Are we ready to go to the phone here?
Sure.
Well, we do have with us on the phone who has called in to join us this morning, Senator Rumesh Akbari. And let's go to the phone. Senator, are you there?
I am.
Well, good morning and welcome to our program.
For sure. Happy to be here.
Well, I guess we'd ask you first to tell us a little bit about yourself, if you will, Senator Akbari.
For sure. Well, this is my 12th legislative session. I was born and raised in Memphis, ended up going to college in St. Louis and law school, came back home, and shortly thereafter started getting involved in some community things. By the time I was 29, I had a mentor who suggested I run for a vacant seat. Ended up running for that in a special election in the House, and I served there for 5 years. Then in 2018, I ran for the Senate, and I've been there ever since. So I serve on the Education Committee, the Commerce Committee, the Calendar Committee, and the Ethics Committee. And three of the big things I push for, one is that every child gets a great public school education, regardless of their zip code. Two is criminal justice reform, that people are not judged for decisions they make on their worst day, particularly if they were a teenager or young person. And three, of course, economic opportunity. We can provide all the education we want, but if we do not have careers for people to step into, we're not setting them up for success. So that's pretty much everything about me. My district is in Memphis and Shelby County. It's Senate District 29. So if you've ever been to Graceland, Beale Street, or the National Civil Rights Museum, you've been to my district.
Graceland is in your district. All right.
It is.
All right. Well, what are Tennessee Democrats in the Senate working on?
So we've been doing a lot of things in collaboration with the Tennessee House Democrats. Our main focus is to make sure that families are safe and secure. And to that end, we're really trying to help folks who are struggling. It seems that our dollars are going, less, more and more. So we are looking at the grocery tax. It's something some members of my caucus have worked on for a while. Personally, I have legislation that will remove the grocery tax on fruit and veggies. We know the groceries, seem to be at an all-time high, especially eggs. So trying to help folks with that. We have legislation around strengthening our public schools, additional funding for public schools. We also have legislation, of course, around safety in general. So additional training for police officers. Some folks have legislation around gun safety, those specifically related to children and access to weapons. And it's kind of a range of things. So every general session, about 2,000 bills are filed. So it ends up being a lot, but we tried this year to really focus on those main issues that people care about, whether if they are, they have a medical crisis, they're able to go to the doctor and not, suffer financial, destruction, because Tennessee is the number one in medical debt in the entire country. And of course, we fought vigorously against the education vouchers. Unfortunately, that did pass. And then, of course, we're looking at ways to help the dollar stretch, like I said, with the grocery tax and things like that.
All right, Joni, as it relates to the Menstrual Hygiene Product Accessibility Act that Senator Ackberry is promoting, I understand that the Wilson County Democratic Women have been helping to supply these items for Wilson County girls and women for over a year now.
Yes, that's something that we have taken on just as a matter of course. Every meeting we donate and we gather them up, and one of our members delivers them to the Help Center, Mount Juliet Help Center, because a lot of times when people think about helping out in the community, they think food first. But things like feminine hygiene products and diapers and things like that are just as much needed as food, because those they address things that are a part of life, the basic needs of life, and we feel like we need to address that. And of course, Senator Ackberry can speak to the bill that she is working on. I was downtown attending hearings of the House, and I was in the hearing that Gabby Salinas presented the House version of that bill, and it failed in committees in the House side, so I'm not sure where it stands in the Senate.
Well, Senator, you want to comment on that?
I certainly do. I mean, it definitely speaks to a need that we have in our community. A lot of people, like Joni said, don't think about that, but this is the difference in providing girls the things they need so that they can, one, it's a hygiene issue, but two, also so they're not embarrassed and they have confidence. Unfortunately, since it did fail in the House, that means that I will not be running it in the Senate, because every bill has to have a counterpart. So it's something that we could bring back next year. Gabby could put it up to be heard again, but it cannot be heard again during this part of the first half of this legislative session, unfortunately.
Okay, we're maybe a couple of minutes before going to a break, but let's do it anyway. MJ, I think you're about ready here, and we're going to be talking about something that's going to take up a little time. Don't want to interrupt our conversation on our next topic, so let's take a break right here, and I'll reintroduce our guest this morning when we come back from this break. You're on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by our friends at Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. $59.95 up to 5 quarts of oil. Tax and disposal, tire rotation, and safety check. 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. A little bit more volume in the last 15, 20 minutes on 24 westbound. Coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. 65 northbound. Just before you get up to Harding Place, there was a minor accident with all that traffic flow that's coming up from Brentwood into South Nashville on 65 going northbound. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken has that live entertainment starting at 6 o'clock tonight. Order online today. It's easy, princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Are you looking for a great career with a great company? Do you have extensive heavy equipment experience? AMI Construction, based out of Lebanon, Tennessee, is seeking skilled motor grader operators to join our team. The ideal candidate must have a minimum of 2 years operating a grader. We offer awesome benefits, such as company-paid health insurance, competitive pay, and more. If you're interested in joining a growing company, please visit our website at www.amiconstructioninc.com/join the team or call our office 615-547-0797.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is in a new location, 1746 West Main in Lebanon, across from Sports Village. Gregory Dental Group offers cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs.
No insurance? No problem. Call about the discount plan. Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322.
Thank you. All right, let me tell you again that our program this morning is paid for by the Wilson County Democratic Women, and in studio is Joni Cochran, and we do have on the phone Senator Rumesh Akbari, who is a senator from the Memphis area, including Graceland, we found out. And Senator, we're going to switch our topic here to public education, and we are going to start with you and your comments here. But there's a very controversial bill that is moving through the chambers right now. It's House Bill 0793. It's Senate Bill 0836. This bill would allow a school district to reject students from attending their school based on their legal status. Now, why is this so controversial?
Well, I'll tell you, one, it is challenging a constitutional precedent that was established 40 years ago. Pyler v. Doe was a case that came out of Texas. The state of Texas decided, or a particular education district decided that they would not educate students who were undocumented. It went all the way up to the Supreme Court. It was a close decision, but ultimately it was decided that financial considerations were not a substantial argument, and that all children, regardless of their status, should be educated. A big point that was made was that, you'll have this subclass of people that won't be educated. They won't know how to read and write or count or anything like that. And so this is something that was filed in the Tennessee legislature this year. And we seem to have more and more pieces of legislation like that that are seeking to undo precedent because of the composition of the Supreme Court currently. And so for me, this legislation is just cruel, right? You have people, you have children who are in this country. They are not aware of their status or why they're here or anything like that. A lot of times their parents are being recruited to come work in some communities, whether a certain industry or on certain farms or things like that. And then to say that, a 5-year-old should not be educated, or that a school district has the right to not educate a child, it's just, to me, is so anti to everything that we value as Americans. And I'll say one more thing. The bill as amended, which actually passed out of committee yesterday in the House and last week in the Senate, requires every child, regardless of their status, if they're an American citizen or not, in order for them to register for school, their parent has to provide a birth certificate or a Social Security card to prove their status as an American citizen or a green card. And if they're unable to do that, the school district can charge them tuition. And if they're unable to pay the tuition, they cannot attend. So that would also apply to undocumented students So for me, it's just unnecessary. We don't have any school districts that are saying, hey, the financial burden is too high. And further, for the argument that, well, they're undocumented, they don't pay into the system. Tennessee is not a property tax state. We don't have a statewide property tax. We don't have a statewide income tax. And so a lot of that funding, particularly from the state that goes down to the county, comes from sales tax, which all people consume, all people produce. So, I think it is particularly heinous because it affects children, and it's very controversial. It's gotten out of committee on very tight votes, and so we'll see what happens when it makes it to the floor.
Joni, I understand that you attended the K-12 subcommittee hearing yesterday.
I did.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, it was something to see and experience. Cordell Hall, that floor anyway, where the hearing rooms are, was absolutely packed with people who oppose the bill. There were families there, children. There was a 9-year-old boy who testified along with an EA, I believe, and I forget what the other person, what their background was, but 3 people in all, one 9-year-old boy, and I thought they made the case against the bill eloquently, but it passed anyway. And of course, the show of support in the room, in the hallway, was, I took video of it. It's on my social media if you want to go look at it. It was really humbling to see so many people united together for a good cause. Children shouldn't pay the price for decisions they can't make. And we know that educating, we know that an educated population is a prosperous population, right? We also know, and as the 9-year-old boy pointed out, even though his community may be, largely undocumented, they do participate in our economy. And in that way, they generate sales tax, as the senator mentioned. So they are paying into the system. But they don't really get the benefits of what they're paying into because they're undocumented. But education is one area where they can participate and they can lift the community up. They can contribute to the community. And my perspective on that is these are people who want to be here, right? They want to be here and they want to contribute. And so why wouldn't we help them do that? I have yet to hear anybody give a reasonable answer to that. Why wouldn't we help them belong when they have shown the desire and the commitment? And I don't understand why the sponsors of the bill just hold fast that they think they're doing the right thing here, and they're almost gleeful in the knowledge that, yes, this thing is going to pass, and yes, we're going to have a Supreme Court case, and yes, we're going to strike down something that has been working well for decades. I'd like somebody to explain that to me.
Well, let me throw out one thing here, and the two of you can comment on this. I think anybody that looks at this objectively at all would say we do have a problem here. And you've made definitely some good points here. The thing that sticks in the back of my mind, and I wish you would comment on it, I'm trying not to necessarily, I'm not trying to be controversial just to be controversial, but the fact remains that they are in this country illegally. Now, what about some kind of path for citizenship, or just discuss that too? And I guess you got the mic, Joni. Okay. You go first, and then Senator we'll let you comment. What about that?
Well, I don't think anybody would argue with having a path toward citizenship. It seems to me that that's the thing that we really should be working on, instead of kicking children out of school. And at this point, I welcome the senator's comments.
Well, certainly, I do think that's been a discussion for so long, a path to citizenship, what that looks like. And it seems like we were getting kind of close last year, but in Congress, but unfortunately, that was derailed. I will say this too. I think there are other things that can be done to control immigration that is undocumented. I just don't think starting with children is the right way to do it. It's something I brought up in committee. People are coming for a reason, and a lot of that is because there are folks who are actively recruiting them to work in certain industries. And so why not go after that industry as opposed to starting with children? That's really my main concern, truly.
Do you think that there could be something done about this to satisfy both sides here, that there could be a way for citizenship and the children could be educated? All this, I think, I don't know, everybody'd be totally happy, but that would sound like a reasonable solution to me.
Well, I would hope so. Unfortunately, it's very complicated because the citizenship issue would happen on a federal level, and the education of students happens on a state level. So it would take some time. There would have to be a lot more collaboration on federal level than we're seeing right now. I will say this also: your documentation status is not a criminal offense; it is a civil offense. So people are not criminally charged based on their status of being in this country. The only time it becomes a criminal offense is when a crime is actually committed. So that's kind of another thing that complicates the discussion, because a lot of people think, oh, this is a crime they're committing just by being here, which is not true also. But I hope for a happy medium, right? I think having a pathway to citizenship makes that happen, because you do have folks who will have, a pathway. And I think that's the most important thing.
All right, we got about 4 minutes left here, and Senator Hackberry, anything else before we let you go? Any other comments you have for us this morning?
Well, the only thing I'll say is the Tennessee General Assembly, that's the people's house, the people's Senate. So make sure that you show up. Make sure that if you like something or you don't like something, bring it to folks' attention. And also know that, like, a lot of the bills that I've passed have come to me because of constituents. I had a young man who moved to Tennessee from Georgia. He had a mobile barbershop. And in Tennessee, that was against the law. His grandmother emailed me. We met with the Department of Insurance and Commerce, worked the bill, and it became a law so that he could continue to practice his business the way he wanted to. So just know we work for y'all. They don't pay us a lot, but we still work for y'all. So keep that in mind and don't be afraid to show up.
All right. Well, Senator Rumesh Hackberry from Memphis, thank you for being with us this morning.
My pleasure. Y'all have a great day.
All right. Okay. Now, Joni, we're going to let you conclude here and your final thoughts this morning before you leave us.
Gosh. Well, appreciate being here. Appreciate the senator for taking the time to come on this morning and share her thoughts with us. Golly, I following the legislature has become almost a full-time job. There is just so much to do, to know, to see, and things move quickly.
Well, to what extent are you there nearly every day?
No, I'm not physically there every day. I am there on Tuesdays, it seems, because that's when all the education committees meet, and that's what I like to follow. I don't think I've talked about this before with you yet, but I joined the NAACP that has reactivated here in Wilson County, and I was elected to their executive committee, and I'm chairing the education subcommittee. So I have a vested interest in wanting to stay abreast of everything to fulfill my obligations around that. As well as, education is near and dear to my heart. I talked about that quite a bit on the campaign trail because I think it can make a difference in a child's life, particularly one who comes from a disadvantaged background. And so, and it seems to me that our politicians these days are using education as more of a cudgel than as a way to uplift Tennessee. So that's my interest in that. I hope that Representative Clemens will be able to get his free lunch and breakfast bill passed someday. It failed in committee again yesterday. He brings it every year. Representative Hardaway got a bill passed out of committee yesterday that's promising that will require comprehensive sports physicals so that any issues that aren't found by just taking one's blood pressure and listening to heart rate can be discovered before a young man or a young woman go out on the field and collapse there and never come home. So, so that was something that happened yesterday that I thought was promising. And anyway, my interest in all of that is I want to be involved. I want to make a difference in a good way. I want people to be informed, and I'm doing it for my granddaughter and for your grandchildren and their children once they, become parents and so forth. So I hope that answers your question.
All right. Well, we've come to the end of our time here, but we have featured Senator Rumesh Akbari from Memphis, who called in, and Joni Cochran with the Wilson County Democratic Women live in studio, and the Democratic Women have paid for the time here this morning. Thank you much. We'll see you next time.
You bet. Thank you.
And that does it for Wednesday, and until tomorrow, I wish you a wonderful day.